the crazy story of the week that I think is going to have repercussions that we're just completely unaware of at this point. This is this P. Diddy story. Let me start with a quote from the Daily Wire. The U.S. Justice Department unsealed charges against Combs on Tuesday that alleged he abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his sexual desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. Prosecutors said that Combs, that's P. Diddy, that's his real name, carried out his scheme by relying on the employees' resources and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, sex trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. Prosecutors say that in times relevant to the indictment, Combs engaged in persistent and pervasive pattern of abuse towards women and other individuals. The abuse was at times verbal, emotional, physical, and sexual. Prosecutors say that Diddy engaged in lengthy sex parties, referred to as freak-offs, that could last days, in which he or his associates lured women in under the guise of interest of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, or coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers during the events, prosecutors said. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial sex workers across state lines and internationally. There was heavy drug use at these freak-offs, which Combs allegedly recorded sometimes without the women knowing. So I think a lot of people are hearing this stuff. It's like, oh, this is just some more weird celebrity stuff. And we hear a lot about these things. However, suddenly now a bunch of big-time musicians have deleted Twitter accounts. Usher's Twitter account has disappeared. Pink's. And it sounds like there were just tons and tons of people there. The whole thing sounds like a honeypot. I mean, what do you make of what's going on here?
It feels to me Epstein-esque, right? In that there was videos being made of sex acts that may have been used for blackmail going forward. And the fact that he has not been able to get out on bail. I mean, I think his lawyers offered to post $50 million, which is an unheard of number. And I still think we don't talk enough about the Epstein suicide. I mean, this is a guy who was on a suicide watch, theoretically.
The cameras weren't working that day.
Cameras didn't work. Somebody fell asleep. Come on. I mean, if I actually think, and I said this on the radio show the other day, I think Diddy's going to get killed. Like, maybe they'll attribute it to suicide, but when they don't let him out on bail and they're keeping him there, and there have to be in the same way that
why bother even killing him at this point if you got all the tapes? Because it sounds like they had hundreds of cameras in the house. So now you've got all of these celebrities lined up, possibly with underage kids. You can figure out what the blackmail and probably money laundering and all sorts of crazy stuff. Why even bother killing him? Now we're obviously just completely
but I mean, I think it's because there's people in positions of power that do not want that to come out. We don't even know who the people were at these parties. I mean, you got an indication based on people just deleting all of their past history. We never knew what happened. The Epstein list has never come out. You know, I don't think there's any doubt, in my opinion, that Epstein was doing a lot of work potentially for intelligence agencies, that he had a lot of people in incredible positions of power in compromising positions, and they decided we can't have any of this ever come out. I think the same thing's going to be true of Diddy.